Hello, YouTubians. As you can see, I look pretty rough. Thought I'd do this video to uh, illustrate some things that happen in life. For me, more often than I'd like it to. Um, so I had to leave work yesterday. I had to leave school at around 11 something, 11:30, and I was feeling really bad. And and I didn't know where it was coming from. And it's funny because this happens to me pretty frequently. You'd think I'd be used to it by now to recognize the symptoms, but the day before, me and the family went to the museum, and I was just worn out. Like every chance I could get, I was sitting down to rest. I just, no pain, just lethargy, just malaise, just feeling tired. Um, so then I woke up Monday morning, and for some reason I just did not feel right. And to me, it felt like it was stress induced. I'd had some really bad nightmares for a few days, and now it's all kind of fitting together. And so I go in, I muster up my, come on, Kurt, you can do this. And I go into work. And literally, as a teacher, you have to, the more pumped up you are, the more pumped up your students are. And as the day progressed, I just started feeling worse and worse. Excuse me. Ugh. And by like 11 o'clock, I was literally laying my head on my desk going, oh my God, I don't feel good. So I went up to one of my administrators and I was like, well, no, Dean, one of my colleagues, came in. He's our tech expert at the school, and luckily he's a teacher as well. And so he said, Kurt, you don't look so good. Are you okay? And I go, no, I'm not okay. It was literally to the point where I considered calling an ambulance. Now, being a paramedic myself, like calling an ambulance is the last thing I would do. It would have to be life or death. In fact, the last time I considered calling an ambulance was this same illness, and that is food poisoning. I had food poisoning. And the way it starts with me is I start feeling lethargy, and then within a few hours, my whole body starts hurting. And then within like 2 hours, I vomit really hard. And yesterday, not to be gross, I vomited harder than I've ever vomited in my life. I've been continuously consuming Powerade and water to keep myself hydrated because I just felt wrong. And so when I vomited 10 times straight in a row. 2 days worth of food and about a day and a half worth of water came out of me. I was severely bloated, and I'm figuring probably like around 2 gallons came out of me, literally. So I've now had food poisoning about 10 times. Last time I had it so severe that I went to a Taco Bell and I was going hiking and I ordered like a burrito supreme or something. And literally I paid, and by the time I got to the next window, literally they were holding it out the window. So I took it, I ate it on the way, went for like a 4 mile hike to see this old dam that we have here in Colorado that has been defunct for a long time. That it was really cool. It was made back in the 1800s, By the time I got back to the car, I was not doing good. I had a contract to show up at a veterinary hospital at 6 a.m. the next day. I got home, wasn't feeling good, literally crawled on my hands and knees to go to the bathroom to throw up. Threw up like crazy, luckily, because that's how your body gets rid of the toxins. And I was crawling to my phone to call an ambulance, and I passed out on the floor. And I woke up at 4 a.m., which gave me enough time to shower and everything, and to be at the veterinary hospital to do my job which I was contracted for. So when you're a contractor, that means, somebody else isn't there. They call you up to have you show up and do the work, and there's nobody else to call. You just can't do it. So I went through the work day just miserable as all get out. Usually food poisoning hits me for about 48 hours. First time I had it, I was 16 and ate some of Wendy's chili. And that shows you how, first of all, you build a food aversion when you eat something that causes you to have food poisoning. You don't ever want to have it again. Luckily I'm a chow hound, so I get over that pretty quickly. First time was eating Wendy's when I was 16, and then when I was in the Navy at 19, I got hit. I ate some au gratin potatoes that obviously they had less. I mean, the Navy leaves their chows, used to back in the day, they'd leave their chow sitting on those hot tables until it was gone. So I'm figuring that au gratin had been cooking for about 3 days. And of course, it was the whole cover yourself thing. I'd go to see the doctor, and I'd thrown up au gratin potatoes that I had eaten, several days earlier. It's not supposed to stay in you that long. It's supposed to be coming out the other end by then. And the doctor was like, "Oh no, it couldn't be that." And I'm like, "Yeah, dude. I know what au gratin potatoes look like, and they look the exact same coming out as they did going in, which means those things were, your body tries to protect itself. It won't try to digest something that is poisonous to it. Food poisoning works as you get certain bacteria in you that produce toxins, and those toxins are hugely deadly. I mean, they're figuring right now that maybe about 40% of flu cases are actually mild food poisoning cases that are misconstrued as flu. When they say the 48-hour bug, a true flu that hits you, last flu that hit me, I had to go to the hospital for. And I don't consider myself a sick person. I don't get sick very often. I think I had food poisoning. The last one was 2 years ago that I did go to the hospital for, and they did nothing for me. They left me sitting in a room for 8 hours, and I pulled my own. They left an IV of normal saline dripping into me at a slow rate, and I pulled my own IV out, and I walked out of the hospital on my own. And I told them how horrible I thought they were. Eventually went and saw the director of the entire hospital system over it. So anyway, that's why I look so bad. This is the first time I've been outside since yesterday. Night sweats, just the sweat literally soaks through my pillow. Like, it starts on this end of my head and it goes all the way through, and you flip your pillow over and there's sweat there too. It's horrible. So that's where I've been for the past 24 hours or so. Big major props to my fellow colleague Dean. I cannot say enough about you, Dean, for saving me. I texted him at 6 this morning and said, "Hey, can you cover my classes at the other campus," which is clearly, literally on the other side of town. It's an hour drive. And man, he just covered my bacon. I had to text my assistant principal and ask permission for all that. So I guess the lesson of this is don't eat leftovers in the fridge that have been sitting there too long. I'm a huge fan of leftovers. Love them. Love leftovers. Always have my whole life. However, rice dishes have a tendency to build up that bacteria a little quicker. And maybe it sat on the counter a little too long before we put it in the fridge. I don't know. But I've been hydrating consistently. My secret is I own a colloidal silver generator. Single-celled organisms cannot live in the proximity of silver. They use it in NASA for their water purification systems up in the space station and space shuttle. They run the water over silver and ultraviolet light to kill off any single-celled organisms that might kill us off. So what I did is, right after I vomited, I had a nice healthy 16 ounces of drink with colloidal silver at about 50 parts per million. And I've been healing, getting better since then. As you can see, I don't look very good. Let me tell you, this compared to yesterday is great. Everybody who saw me wanted to call an ambulance. And I, whatever. I made it through it okay. So Until next time, keep them happy.